Okay, I just want to talk a bit about the run-through I had this afternoon. It was very good for me, first of all. I expected it would be. It applied a fair amount of pressure, and I felt nervousness. One of my colleagues was present, along with several of my students and my wife. And that was just enough to add an edge, and certainly being on a concert stage. An additional, both amusing and frustrating and actually useful thing was that when I got to the concert hall, I realized I didn't have the piano key, and I had to rush back home. So what I had planned as a fairly leisurely warm-up, I didn't get a chance to do, which showed me under fire what I was capable of doing. I did explain it in the video that you might see just before this one. It's not ideal, but at least it shows when that edge is there, when you haven't managed to go through your ritual preparations, what are you able to rely on? So certain things I liked a lot. I thought the Bartok dance suite, for example, I felt a basic comfort level most of the time. I thought in the Czerny, there was a certain exposure to certain decisions, placements of hands, and in the last move, in the fifth movement, in the fifth variations, there was a place where I simply got disoriented a little bit and had to cover, and perhaps one other place in a faster movement. So I do have to take care of the basic drilling so that I feel that much more confident in them. There are certain decisions points, fingering changes that I've made that I still don't have a 100% sense of certainty about. So it's an exposed piece, just like the Brahms intermezzo is an exposed piece, and that too, that worked very well for the most part. But I had one or two places that were, frankly, silly, where I placed my hand. I even remember this particular diminished chord, that I knew that was coming up, and I chose to play something lower than that for no particular reason. Then, since I know it well enough to know what it's supposed to be, I was able to get there. But and in the Brahms sonata, there were a few little twists and turns, a certain degree of recklessness. I'm not dissatisfied with that, because I went for it in places. On the other hand, a certain amount of edge inside here, some of which I want to get rid of, so that even if I'm going for it, I'm going for it with the confidence of knowing that I know where I'm going. Anyway, not a bad experience, good for me under the circumstances. And I'm going to go back to work and be that much more analytical. I have more time now. I have no particularly intruding appointments other than getting to my concert venue. So I will have a few days to examine at greater leisure. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday have been not that good in terms of uninterrupted practice, because I've been attending concerts and meetings much of the time. And the result is I've probably shortchanged myself in the way I've practiced. Also decided that although cold run-throughs have a significant advantage if you have the time, they're not particularly good if that's all the time you have for it. You really need to have a more considerate approach to how you retain and reinforce what you know. You want the most positive reinforcement possible. A cold run-through provides a test, but you then need to have the time in the same day to be able to make those positive reinforcements and analyses of what went wrong. So for the future, I've got to remind myself of that. So anyway, enough of this. I will shortly come back and do a little bit of playing.